What's going on, guys? It's John here from Hot Take Hockey to give kind of some hard news. I mean, some really rough news, especially for hockey, more specifically women's hockey, the growth of women's hockey. And I am wearing an NHL jersey, which is not, it's related, but it's not related. We're going to talk about how obviously it is related. But the CWHL and with their board meeting has folded. They will not have a season for next year. The NWHL will, and they'll start in October, and they've been a league that's obviously more based on American teams, where the CWHL is the Canadian Women's Hockey League that had a lot of success this year. And I think there's been struggle in the past. This year, it reached television on Sportsnet. The Clarkson Cup was the most successful one they've had to date. And I think looking at the past, obviously there's been some growth. Not enough growth, but there's been some growth. And I wanted to touch on it for this channel because obviously, again, this channel's a lot of NHL stuff, but we want to talk about the growth of hockey. We want to talk about what's going on behind the scenes. And of course, this is not some good news that we got today. Out of the press release, the board of directors of the Canadian Women's Hockey League, CWHL, has made the decision to discontinue operations effective May 1st, 2019. Unfortunately, while the on-ice hockey is exceptional, the business model has proven to be economically unsustainable. So essentially, they're not making enough money. In the future, they wouldn't be making enough money to sustain the league at the level that needs to be. New management led by Jana Hefford and the new board put in place in summer and fall of 2018 respectively have proactively worked with our contract staff, players, GMs, industry partners, and corporate sponsors to establish an adequate revenue base, good governance, and a high-quality hockey on the ice. Unfortunately, the business model that has been the foundation of the league is not sustainable financially. The CWHL is not followed enough. It's not followed on TV enough. And there's different aspects we can argue. I'm not really, this video is not for the purpose of going into those arguments on why maybe it should be covered more. I'm not going to cover that more because it is really debatable and a lot of people have different opinions on it. My opinion, yeah, it could be covered a lot more. You look at the NHL, its model today. Obviously, marketing is a huge thing. And I think there's been a lot of work gone into the CWHL, which has been great in terms of marketing. And for myself, I go to Ryerson, part of a sport media program. You look at the CWHL, and it had made a lot of strides. 10 plus years, 2019, and of course, the players were blindsided. And that's kind of the other aspect. The players were blindsided. Management were blindsided. A lot of people that actually took part in a lot of the bringing of the league. I mean, the growth of the league and just the growth of women's hockey. And it's really disappointing for someone like Natalie Spooner. I know she is one of the greatest role models in North America for younger females. And I think that is a real disappointment that she won't be part of a team next year. And I think it's a real disappointment that Poulin won't be part of a team next year. And I think that's really disappointing that these players that have been inspiration for younger girls won't be part of teams next year. So, yeah, maybe they could. I mean, the NWHL, like I said, maybe they. And I mean, an expansion would not be ready for next year. That's the only reason why I'm saying they won't have a team next year. I mean, there's obviously they can go for a tryout. They can try to bring together contracts for the star players, but that leaves a lot of other people out of jobs, out of a hockey team for a full year, for a full season. And I think on the other aspect of things, that we're not going to dig into deep as well, they don't get paid enough. I mean, in comparison, you can search it up yourselves. From the top player in the NHL to the top player of the NWHL or CWHL, obviously the gap is like night and day. And I think even the worst player in the NHL and the best player in the CWHL, still a very, very large gap in terms of money being made. And I think that's really disappointing. Obviously, a lot of aspects, and I'm not saying anything super specific, and I'll just leave that to you guys kind of piece together. But I think the growth of women's hockey needs to rebound from this, and I think hopefully this isn't something that will sink the growth for years. Hopefully they take this, especially the players. The players obviously are in a horrible situation right now, and I think the players just need to come together and hopefully with management, with ownership, with executives in the sport, in the industry. But most importantly, I think the NHL, and that's where I come together to finalize this video. I think the NHL, Gary Bettman, needs to come in and do exactly what you see with the NBA and the WNBA. The Women's National Basketball Association, I'm like watching March Madness today. I'm seeing Kia Nurse, just how much of a role model she's become, just how much the league has grown. And maybe that's not to the standard yet, but they're years ahead. I feel like they're definitely in a better direction. The NBA came together, helped bring that league up, and I think that's exactly what the NHL needs to do. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Just a quick discussion video. I don't want to make anyone upset. I think my stance on this, like I said, I think hopefully this doesn't put the growth of women's hockey in danger, and I think the fact that the NWHL is still being positive. There's been quotes that have come out. There was a release from the commissioner of the league. I think for that aside, hopefully, as she said, that with that league, maybe a bigger league has grown to cover all of North America or the world. So thank you so much, guys. Again, this is John from Hot Take Hockey. Subscribe if you're new, hit a thumbs up, and comment your opinion on the situation. All right, guys, have a good one. Peace out.